Yeah, they took it back. It's totally failed. Yeah. It's not. Call this meeting, December 2nd, 2025 to order. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda, which includes 12 items. It was published, the copies are available. If you would like to discuss an item, it will be moved to the regular agenda, and comments can be made at that time.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
move to approve the consent agenda and authorize the chairman to sign documents if required.
A second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is to consider the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda as published.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next is announcements. Under announcements, we have employee appreciation. Today, we are recognizing 2 employees for their service to Sheridan County. They will receive a certificate of appreciation from the Chamber of us. First, we have airport vehicle/equipment coordinator Brian Anderson with the Sheridan County Airport, celebrating 5 years of service. Brian here. Come on up, Brian. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next on the list is airport office manager Bonnie Formasano with Sheridan County Airport, celebrating 20 years of service. Wow.
20 years of pastries for our meetings.
Number 5 on the agenda is public comments on matters not on the agenda. And I have a sign-up sheet, and the first one for number 5 is Harry Pollock.
Sure.
All right, good morning. My name is Harry Pollock, resident of Sheridan. And, you know, one of the things that I've been doing since I've been here in Sheridan a little over 4 years now is holding electeds accountable. Now, this issue particularly is one that I'm sure was an oversight. I don't think there was any malice or intent here, but I just wanted to bring it up to your attention that, you know, on the 18th of August, Commissioner Siddle was going to go down to Casper for a joint committee meeting. What wasn't said was that he was going to be going down there as a representative for WCCA, Wyoming County Commissioners Association. at which he then lobbied against taxpayers for a 10-cent increase, fuel increase. The issue that really is concerning me anyway is that funds were used. The tax or the fuel WEX card of $41 and some odd cents, and then the use of the county vehicle, the Jeep Wagoneer. And so I think just for transparency's sake and for keeping things clean, that since, Commissioner Siddle didn't go down there representing the county, he was representing a association or lobbyist, then those funds should be reimbursed. So it's about 300 miles to Casper at 70 cents a mile. And then, of course, the $41.71 for the fuel, we're looking at about $251 that should be reimbursed to the county for, towards taxpayers. And I just want to close with a quote from John Adams, that government is instituted for the common good, not for profit, honor, or private interest of any one man, family, or class of men. And basically, Adams was advocating that the government needed a system of checks and balances to prevent tyranny for the common good. The latter part of the quote argued against corruption. And, I don't want that to be confused that, like I said, I don't think, Commissioner Siddle intentionally did anything wrong. I just wanted to bring it to the attention and get the matter corrected. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pollack, for your opinion. Looking at my list to see if there's anyone for item number 5. Anybody else want to speak to items that are not on the agenda? Anybody? Moving on, item 6, consider resolution 25-12-031, the 2026 Sheridan County Holiday Courthouse Closure Schedule. This is the important stuff today. Cameron Duff.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good morning. This resolution is an annual resolution at this point. All we did is take the same dates that we were closed, changed the year on it, adjusted some numbers there, but there are no significant changes to the days that will be closed. So unless there are any suggested changes, I recommend the passing of this resolution.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would move to approve and authorize the chairman to sign resolution 25-12-031, Sheridan County Holiday Courthouse Closure Schedule for 2026 as presented.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 7 on the agenda is consider resolution 25-12-032, favoring the establishment of a Sheridan County Senior Citizen Service District and submitting a ballot proposition for its formation to the county clerk. I'll call Brandon Stewart, board president of the Hub on Smith. Yep.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm
Talk
talking,
right into that mic, Brandon.
I'm speaking on behalf of the Board of Directors at the Hub, many of whom are here today. We appreciate you taking up this resolution. In the letter that we sent to you earlier, and I'll just read from it, those kind of reflect my comments. In 2023, 8,900 residents over the age of 60 called Sheridan County home. More than 1 in 4 older Wyoming residents live alone. These numbers will continue to increase, and within the next decade, for the first time in our nation's history, older adults will outnumber children. At the Hub, we continue to see a year-over-year increase in participation in our programs. Along with that increase in services comes an increase in cost to provide those services. We believe the establishment of a senior citizen service district in Sheridan County will be a necessary tool in local efforts to meet the needs of our community's older population today and in the future. As I mentioned in our work meeting before, you have there's two ways to get this resolution before the voters. One is by action through resolution by the Board of Commissioners, and the other is by petition. we'll defer to the board. We're citizens and you're our elected officials. And we know that you use your best judgment today as to how to proceed. But I would say, from a personal standpoint, I've always believed that it's important that you take care of yourself, but you also extend a hand to people who are in need. And that's why the board exists. It's as simple as that. And we would hope that you would put this before the voters and allow them the ability to make that decision in August. Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon. Of course, Jeannie, Julian. You don't want to talk? Okay. Ron Patterson, I know he wants to talk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ron Patterson, I'm a builder and developer down Falcon Ridge, Haven 1, and Haven 2, W, Tech Park, and a few others. What I'm saying is I would like to help with a committee that you set up for an 80-year-old senior. I've been building here for 30 years now. Also previously a president of the Home Builders Association. So I have a little experience of seniors and our needs. My proposal is that we're ready to do an 80-unit project up by the hospital. That was going to be for ages 65 and over only. And with that, some of the taxes, some of the costs, we're trying to bring down, keep down, so that the elderly can afford to live there, whether purchase or rent. If they purchase, we'll take their house and trade and put it up for sale for new citizens or businesses. The other thing is that we can postpone some of our tax revenue that goes to different other considerations that's been all entwined inside and to transfer it to places like the hub, places like that. So that's what I asked for, is a membership on the committee that will help to set it up some seniors.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Next is Nick Taylor. Taylor?
Nick or Vic?
Is it Vicky? Okay.
Could
It's
be
Vicky
me.
Taylor. All right.
Could be Nick today.
Go, Bobby. Jeez. I can't read your writing.
I know. I'm sorry, I apologize for not having a handout for you. I've got it written here and that's all I've got. What I would like to say to the commissioners today is I'm asking for the commissioners to reconsider.
Speak right into that
Talk
mic.
into the microphone, Vicky,
That word?
please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I am asking the commissioners to reconsider a favor of support, the way the resolution 2512-032 is written, favor of support for a senior citizen district. Your support for this district means you are supporting a tax increase on all the taxpayers in Sheridan County. The senior center wants to impose an additional tax burden on the county taxpayers. They, the senior center, should work to petition this to the district to be on the 2026 election ballot. They can petition it, that's the other alternative available to them. The senior center cannot support their bus system. They lost $250,000 of federal funding in 2025. Now, I realize that this bus system, Boost Transit, is a burden. The city and county picked it up and supported it, okay? But you don't want to keep the buses running at $200,000 per year. Are the county taxpayers expected to bail this mess out? If the commissioners favor, and I want to emphasize that, this resolution is so written, the entire county could be taxed to support the senior center, 2 mil. When they become a district, and this is a further caveat, as a district, the full and part-time employees of the senior center could contract with the Wyoming Retirement System, as does the city, as does the county, as does the school district, as do the fire districts. If they contracted with the Wyoming Retirement System, again, more taxpayer support for the district. Commissioners, let the senior center work to get this on the 2026 ballot. Let them take that route. The word favor in the resolution clearly states you're in favor of this. I don't want to predict votes, county commissioners, but this will be tax increase. I've got a small thing to say in that regard, a little sidebar here. I received notification from Social Security that they'll be dropping my Social Security by $4,000 a year. Why? They don't like the fact that my retirement is not in a retirement account, it's in an investment account. And so having received notice of that, I went down to the Social Security office yesterday. And I walked in and I took a number, and it's a very forbidding place now, if you've ever been in there. While I was in there, a man came busting out from the inside to head to the parking lot. He was violently angry and mad. And the man who sits at the desk is the kind of front person for Social Security. He trailed him out into the parking lot. Two gentlemen were, I use the word gentlemen, were shouting at one another, obscenities and threats. And a lady sitting in there next to me said, do you realize what could happen to us if they came busting back in here? And this guy brought in a gun. I said, collateral damage. So what I'm saying here and why I bring up this little antidote is these are very difficult times for a lot of people. Just recently, there was Casper Trailer Park was bought in Casper by some outfit, and the people in there's costs have risen. And these are older people, these are young people with children, these are basically our barely working poor. And so these are very difficult times, that's all I'm trying to say. And I would really be disappointed if our county commissioners would vote to favor a 2 mil tax increase, create a district that could add an additional burden. If you read the resolution, that's my opinion. And I want to thank you for listening to me. And I believe it's Mr. Stewart. I understand what you're saying, Mr. Stewart. I find it interesting that you did tell me on your board was Mike McCafferty on the board for the hub. I think, who else sits on the board of the hub?
Vicki,
Oh, sorry, I should clear off the microphone. I apologize, I was out of place there. Thank you very much for
thank you for your comments. Lori Goodman.
Thank you all. I'm here today on behalf of my 90-year-old mom, BAM group, who voted for me to come speak to you. This is a group of 15 women who get together 3 times a week at the hub to exercise. Several of them use the Little Goose Transit to come from their housing units around the town to get there. They exercise. Their exercise, because of federal cuts, have eliminated one of the positions that was leading that group. So they now have volunteers who have stepped forward to make sure that they lead that. And let me tell you, I exercise with them, and it's a good little workout. And it's important to them. Afterwards, they stay, about half of them, and they have their coffee, and they're together, and then some stay for the bingo and the lunch, some go on for their chores and the rest of their. The point being, And I didn't know it. I've been busy with my career doing other things. I really had no idea all of the services and the importance of getting elderly people out of their own home, out of their own isolated neighborhoods, into a place where they can interact, where they can talk about what they heard, where they can visit in productive ways. They have game rooms there. I play bridge there. I'm grateful for the facility to have that. And my bridge group is also all over the retirement age. It is a critically important and valuable community center, one that I wasn't aware of. And so I watched that, and I watched what it means to my mom. I've watched the community that it has built for her over the 5 years. So it's valuable, and they want you to know via me how valuable that place is for them. And it's a nonprofit. It was never set up. I don't think any retirement center in the state of Wyoming or anywhere else is set up to be a for-profit entity. Doesn't mean that the board has to watch very carefully about their money. I get all that, but to cut off funds so they don't have a coffee cart or a coffee counter, in my opinion, or that they can't come and play BAM, or that they have to do a petition. I've done petitions before, and they're hard. And the point of the matter is, all a petition would do is just what you're being asked to do now anyway, is get it before the voters. If it's a tax increase, as Vicki points out, then the voters get to decide. They don't decide that at the petition level. So I don't see any need personally, and I'm encouraging you not to go that route, to make a community like this. It's not those older people who are going to walk around, it's going to be their kids and us sons and daughters who appreciate that place for our folks that would have to go get the signatures, make sure that they match up, create that work for the county. I think it's just a step that's unnecessary. What ultimately has to happen is for the voters in this community to step up and say, do they want to increase the mill for this nonprofit retirement center, which I think is core. And I encourage you to do that today. And so do the 15 women who asked me to be here to do that.
Thanks, Lori. That is it for the public comment sign-in sheet.
Bonnie's got it, Charles.
I'm sorry?
I didn't know you had to sign.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Thank you. Riddle. Members of the commission, I appreciate it, Lonnie, to let me speak. This is close to my heart. The volunteers that we have had at the hub or the senior center has been phenomenal. I myself put 20 years in delivering Meals on Wheels. That's when you really see your population. I mean it. And I would like to see, first of all, I've lived here at 508 West Works for 50 years. My phone number is 672-0898 if you want to talk. I have never in my 50 years have seen a county commission and a city council this great in our community. I mean it. I've been there. You guys are doing one whale of a job. This is a problem we've got in this community right now with our aging population. I'm 86, I'm not 90 yet. And I look at, and I'm jealous of these people.
Me too.
God, I wish, oh my gosh, I wish I was there. But age is coming upon this community. And you guys so far have provided so much for the hub, and so has the city council. And I would like for you five to get together with the city council, which you have been doing, which never has been done since I've been here. you have been meeting to come up with a solution, whether it's this tax or whatever, to keep the hub going. I mean it. You guys have got the brains here, the city council's got the brains to figure this thing out. I know you do. Please, please consider this part of our population. What is it, Brent, about 30% now of people my age or something? I don't know. It's
26.
getting up there. And if you see the people waiting for the buses, it's not old people a lot, it's young people going to work. They can't afford a car. They can hardly afford rent right now in this town. That is very, very important for doctor's appointments, for any appointment at a bank or to Walmart or whatever you do. That transportation has got to stay. And I'm also saying the meals are the only nutrition some of these people see all day. Seriously. Take this to heart, and we will be ever thankful for our county commission and the city council to carry this forward. You guys got to carry it on. You're all right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Mayor Wilson. Okay, that is it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
for discussion, I would move to approve and authorize the chairman to sign resolution 25-12-032 favoring the establishment of Sheridan County Senior Citizen Service District and submitting a ballot proposition for its formation to the county clerk.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I read this resolution very closely, and for those of you who haven't seen it, the title of the resolution says a resolution favoring the establishment of a Sheridan County Seniors Service District and submitting a ballot proposition for its formation to the county clerk. Further down during the whereas statements, at the bottom of the whereas statement, there's a statement that says, whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Sheridan County favors the formation of a senior citizen service district to better serve the citizens of Sheridan County. And then on further down in the resolve statements, it says a majority of the Board of Commissioners hereby favors the formation of a senior service district. I am entirely in favor of the voters getting to vote on this situation. I am not entirely in favor of coming out and saying that the county commissioners favor a tax increase. So I think it's up to the voters to decide. I'm in favor of the voters getting to decide, but Commissioner Jennings and I yesterday worked on a little bit of maybe an amended resolution, and there's three that can go that way. I have some that can go this way. One of them for our attorney, who has not seen this yet. So
Surprise.
yeah, correct. Because we just got it printed this morning. But anyway, and we may need to look at that. It takes out it takes out the word favoring. It just says a resolution for the establishment of a district and submitting the proposition before the voters. It takes out the statement that says the commissioners favor the formation of a district. It takes out the statement that says the majority favor it, but I am certainly in favor of putting it before the voters. I'm not in favor, I'm overusing that word favor, but I don't want to put out there that says the commissioners asked for a tax increase. We all know right now what taxes are. And I guess there's one other thing that I would say. If our legislature does away with property taxes, as they have said that they might potentially do, if they do that, then this whole thing's a moot point because there are no property taxes to collect mill levies from. So that's a whole nother point of this situation. But so with that, and I guess I would like to add, I realize that, is it possible to amend it in this way, or would we be better off to table it and bring back a different resolution? Mr. Attorney, and I apologize that you haven't seen this in advance.
Mr. Chairman, yes, so certainly the board's position, you can amend, any resolution will bring you as a draft.
Right.
I would just point out that the draft is worded as it is to be in accordance with Wyoming statute 1815-102A or B1, which says majority of the board of commissioners shall adopt the resolution favoring establishment of the district. So that word, that's not a word that Brent or I invented, that's the legislature's language. So that's, answers your question.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, are you ready for a motion for the amendment then?
If that's what you want to do.
I move that we accept this amendment to the resolution. Simple.
Second?
Motion and a second. All
Mr.
in favor? Oh,
Mr. Chairman, I
No,
just want to
discussion.
clarify that we are only voting on the amendment and then we will vote on the actual resolution.
exactly. So any other discussion on the amendment?
And I guess that I would, Commissioner Jennings and I talked about this and she kind of put it together and anyway, obviously with the amendment, with our attorney wordsmithing it so that it meets the state statutes. I mean, I don't have any qualms with that, just not that we are coming out as a group wanting to increase taxes.
Yeah, very good.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a little bit more clarification on, again, what Commissioner Siddle was saying of why we worked on this amendment. It was to take out the majority of the favoring portion. It certainly says that particular portion of statute, leaves that in there, but the other portions it takes out so that it is as neutral as possible.
Okay. All right. On the amendment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Amendment passes, and now we're back to the original motion. Is there any more discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I want to make it very clear, obviously, there are two different avenues that can be taken. The resolution that we're considering today, but also the a resolution that can be put on the ballot by a voter initiative. I appreciate what Ms. Goodman says, that petitions, they're very difficult to do. I come from the standpoint that I believe that no tax should be easy to put on people. And so knowing that this, whether this passes or not, there's another avenue to get this on the ballot. I'm not in favor of this. I want to see the buy-in from the people. I want to see the work being done. You know, I think of the property tax initiative. It was a lot of work that was put in. I wouldn't have been in favor of it just coming before board and saying, hey, just put this on here. They needed to go do the work. It shows that you have investment. And so I'm not up here making the decision on whether this tax or this district is right or wrong. That's going to be up to the people. I'm not in favor of this method, so I'll be voting against it.
Anybody else? Discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I trust the people and look forward to hearing from them.
I would agree. I don't see any reason for a bunch of little old ladies from the hub running around neighborhoods trying to get signatures. So.
Mr.
anybody
Chairman,
else?
the other side of that is then it comes back to our county clerk's office having to verify every single signature and going through all of that to try and determine if all the signatures are legitimate or if some of them came from Johnson County or if some came from whatever. Whereas this way, we can put it on the ballot and still let the people decide. And I think that that's the fair way to do it in my mind.
Okay. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I
Aye.
Motion passes with Commissioners Jennings and Harsey voting against. Moving on with the agenda, consider airport managers recommendation on the proposals received for the lease of hangar at 903 West Brundage Lane. Call Robert Gill, Airport Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Robert Gill, Sheridan County Airport Manager. On August 15th, 2025, Sheridan County Airport issued a request for proposal for a lease of hangar located at 903 West Brundage Lane. In response, one proposal was received from Bighorn Airways, Inc., which intends to utilize the facility as a primary base and storage area for fixed base operator services, or FBO services. After reviewing the proposal, I recommend awarding the lease of hangar to Bighorn Airways. Their proposed continual operations utilizing this premises provides significant benefits to the general aviation community, as well as support for commercial airline services. FBO services are essential to airport operations by offering critical support functions such as aircraft refueling, de-icing, and other ground services. Leasing this hangar for this purpose will enable Bighorn Airways to effectively store equipment, provide offices for staff, and accommodate aircraft storage as needed. Bighorn Airways has an established record of reliability and professionalism, having served as the FBO at Sheridan County Airport for many years. They have previously leased both this and other premises from Sheridan County and have consistently demonstrated responsibility and cooperation as tenants. Therefore, I respectfully recommend that the Sheridan County Board of County Commissioners approve and authorize the lease of hangar located at 903 West Brundage Lane, Bighorn Airways. I would stand for any questions.
Questions for Robert? Anybody?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move to approve and authorize the lease of the hangar located at 903 West Brundage Lane to Bighorn Airways Incorporated.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thanks, Robert. Number 9 on the agenda, consideration of budget amendment number 1 for fiscal year 2025. And I would call on our county budget officer, Eve Thompson.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, Jeff Thompson, County Clerk, and County Budget Officer. Before your consideration today is Resolution 25-12-030, Budget Amendment number 1 for unanticipated revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year 25-26. As you may be aware, the capital funding has expended more than the respective adopted amounts for the fiscal year 25-26. The expenditures over budget amounted to approximately $1 million for the Memorial Hospital Impact Unit for the project completion and the request for remaining balance. The remaining balance within the Sheridan Memorial Impact Reserve fiscal year 25-26 has been requested by the Sheridan Memorial Hospital. If you approve this budget amendment, that budget will then be made whole by adjusting the $1 million to be added to the Memorial Hospital Impact Unit for those expenditures in capital funding. So if you have any further questions, I'd be happy to try to answer those.
Questions for Clerk Thompson? Anyone? This item requires a public hearing, which I will open at 9:38. Is there anybody who has comments from the public on this item? No one jump up. I will close the public hearing at 9:38 and 30 seconds.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I move to approve and adopt resolution number 25-12-030.
Second.
Motion in a second. Discussion? Anybody?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I just want to make this clear to the people out there that we're not spending an additional $1 million here. What the situation is that as the liaison to the hospital board, I don't know how this actually possibly ever happens in today's world, but they completed this project way ahead of schedule and even at a discounted price. And we had allocated the money and put in reserves to pay this amount. They're just requesting that the amount be paid out of this fiscal year instead of next fiscal year in order to pay off the project in a timely manner. And so we are not, this is money that we had already allocated to spend on this project. It's just moving it out of reserves into cash so that we can pay it. That's how it works. So
Very well said. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, just
Yeah.
kudos to the hospital for stepping up to take care of this need in the community. We hadn't heard much happening at the state. It was taking a while to get wheels moving, so kudos for them
Very
initiating it.
much so, yeah. Anyway, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, passes. Next on the agenda is item 10, consider cooperative agreement for subaward for the 2025 Western States Wildland Urban Interface Grant between the state of Wyoming, Office of State Lands and Investments, Forestry Division, and Sheridan County. And I would call Cameron Duff, our Administrative Director.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. This particular grant, from the Forestry Division is for $80,000. The last one we received from them was in 2022. It's very similar to that one. What it does is allows us to work in creating defensible spaces around residences and other land so that we can sort of mitigate the periods that happen during forest fires. So it's a 50-50 share up to $3,000. So a homeowner can apply for this grant through the county. And if they spend $6,000, they can be reimbursed through the state for the other $3,000. So like I said, this is the exact same one we did in 2022. We were awarded the same amount for 2025. But stand for any questions.
Questions for Cameron? Anyone?
Cameron, Mr. Chairman, is this kind of coordinated through the work that Paul does? Paul Wright?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, yes, this is Paul Wright. He oversees the program and works with those landowners and the state to make sure the paperwork's done correctly, that it meets the requirements of the grant. And then he also does an educational piece as part of the requirements of the grant.
I know he'd been spending some time with the Story community.
Yes, and this particular one is covering the Story area, Red Grade Road and Little Horn Camp.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I move to approve and authorize the chairman to sign the cooperative agreement for sub-award of the 2025 Western States Wildland Urban Interface Grant between the state of Wyoming Office of State Lands and Investments, Forestry Division, and Sheridan County.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item 11, consider item R-25-002, Clearwater Land and Minerals Rezone, and we call on Mark Reed, County Planner.
Thank you, Chairman Ryan, members of the board, Mark Reed, County Planner. Clearwater Land and Minerals LLC has applied to rezone approximately 102 acres in the southwest and northeast, the west half of the southeast, section 3 township, 54 north range, 84 west. The subject parcel is bounded on the east by McCormick Road, which is County Road 109, on the south by tract number 1 of County Lot 54, number 97-167, and Bird Farm Road, also known as County Road, or County Road 28, by Powderhorn Ranch PUD and Saddleview Meadow subdivision on the west, and unplatted Powderhorn Ranch land on the north. It is currently zoned A agricultural. The application proposes to rezone to RR rural residential. Purpose of the rezone is to enable creation of a subdivision containing 3 new parcels that would effectively authorize single-family dwellings on each. The subject parcel is contiguous to A agricultural zoning on portions of its eastern and southern margins. Rural residential zoning occurs on portions of the west, south, and east boundary. PUD planned unit development zoning is also to the west and north. The subject parcel was zoned RR rural residential at the time Sheridan County first adopted zoning in 1985, and by owner initiative was rezoned to A agricultural in 1991. In 2021, Clearwater Land and Minerals applied to rezone the same parcel to rural residential but withdrew following a motion to recommend a denial by the Planning and Zoning Commission on October 7, 2021. Our staff report goes into various aspects of this application, the development context, the planning and regulatory framework, analysis, and various aspects regarding the comprehensive plan. I won't bore you with reciting that. You've had the opportunity to read that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. The Planning and Zoning Commission did consider this item on November 6th and voted 3-1 to recommend approval of item R 25002, Clearwater Land and Minerals Rezone. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Any questions? I tried to answer them. I believe the applicant or representative is present as well.
Questions for Mark? Anyone?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Mark, in the letter from Mr. Wetland, the attorney, there's a section that talks about that the applicant expressly requests that the application only be granted if the condition is included with the request to rezone to require the Clearwater include a perpetual binding covenant on the three parcels that would only allow, that would permanently restrict any further subdivision. I don't see that in the, in any of the conditions. Is that something that we need to add in for this particular application?
Chairman Wright, Commissioner Jennings, so rezones, it's my understanding that you don't want to put conditions on them because what you're doing is actually changing the law. And so a condition on the law is, I don't think makes any sense from a legal perspective, and I think Clint can weigh in on that. So it's not like a CUP or other things that you guys deal with that are discretionary where you can't put conditions on them. This is actually, you're changing the law itself by changing the district boundary. So conditions, I don't think are probably something that should be done. And I'll let Clint weigh in on that. I tried to express it right, but anyway, that's all what I understand.
Mr. Chairman, yep, Mark expressed it very well.
Mr. Chairman, it's my understanding that would come with the subdivision application.
Yeah, so should they choose to subdivide the property, then you could certainly take that into consideration and say, well, this application said 3 lots, that's 6, or whatever it might be. So, yeah.
Okay. Anybody got questions for Mark? Other questions? Okay, this item also requires a public hearing, which I would open at 9:47. And on my sign-up sheet, first is Tony Whitland.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I'm here on behalf of Clearwater Land and Minerals. It's the Campbell family. They have actually established residence here in Wyoming for a number of years now. They came in originally with Polo, but it's now Chip and his wife and his son and daughter-in-law now all have places here. They've even domesticated all their companies in Wyoming. They love it here. This request, Campbell's, the condition issue, Mr. Reed and I are kind of trapped in the way the law works. If I could submit subdivision plat application with the rezone application, it would all be taken care of. My point in keep hammering on these conditions in the letters is to make clear to you, the Campbells sent me up here ready to promise, ready to be held to the idea that they want to only change the zoning density in this way. It's not some trick to try to create 2 20-acre parcels that can then be chopped up into craziness. They don't want that because they own property across the road that's valuable to Indians. This would allow Chip and his wife to probably give these 220 one to each of their adult children for one residence there, so they're all in the same area. They might try to sell the 62 acre parcel to the south. They might keep it. It would just depend on how that went. If that happened, it's still a 62 acre parcel. And because of the back and forth with the prior zoning, pre-plan and post-plan, this was ag, then it was what was unzoned, then it was rural residential. Then it became ag when the Garbers decided to put their feedlot in the 62 acre parcel. When they did that, they made a perpetual commitment to buffer the small ag biolect parcel down at the very south with the 27 acre no development buffer that sits at the south side of what's shown as parcel 3. That will not change. So this actually maintains less density than just about everything around it if you assume the Powderhorn eventually is going to PUD hyper density with open area developed stuff in the west, which I think is likely. At the time we made the first application, withdrew it. The subdivision that's down southeast did not exist. That was open. And I guess potentially somebody could have asked to rezone that ag. They didn't. It's now a 4-lot subdivision, and one of those has been approved by you for CUP for business. So at this point, this land is surrounded on 3 sides by more dense development now, or likely, than it would be if developed as requested. And I absolutely would expect you, if I came back in here with anything other than a 3-lot subdivision with those conditions, I'd expect you to deny it. I'm not playing around. My client wouldn't authorize me to say that unless they meant that. So I think it's pretty straightforward other than that. I think it also, frankly, having served on one of the citizen committees that drew the last plan up, the comprehensive plan is important, and but it's, as you know, it's not the zoning map. It's advisory. It is subject to adjustment. I think overall, particularly when you're trying to balance private property rights for valuable property against the goals of the plan, this proposal meets that pretty well, because what it does is it commits to less density in this area than most of what's around it in a way that transitions from higher density to the west to lower density to the east. I think that's exactly the kind of place the plan sanctions an adjustment to put an important value on people's ability to use their own valuable private property. This is one of those circumstances where that balance occurs, and it occurs better here now than it did back 3 or 4 years ago because of what's happened down to the southeast, which I think was kind of inevitable, but it hadn't happened yet. So unless you have any further questions, that is proposed.
Questions, anyone? Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Next on the sign-up sheet is Janet Wilson. Talk right into it, Janet.
All right, better?
Yes.
Okay. I live at 325 Bird Farm Road. Excuse me. I was here for the planning and zoning, and I have some questions about some of the points that Mr. Wetland made. If indeed this subdivision will be 3 lots.
Talk right into it, Janet.
If indeed this will only be 3 lots, why do you need a rural residential zoning change? Why can't you do it with a conservation easement? Now, Mr. Wetland said that it would be more expensive. I'm not aware that it costs any more money to apply for a conservation design easement instead of a planning and zoning, excuse me, this is terrible, a rural residential rezone. I have no qualm for 3 residences, that's fine. You're opening the door to 30. This could be sold if it is zoned rural residential. It will then be 30 houses instead of 3. You cannot control what happens if you sell that property. You can't control what would happen if that property is sold, if it is now zoned rural residential. So the comprehensive plan is indeed subject to change. It should be, I guess you could call it a living document. But the purpose of it is to control growth in an orderly manner. If you take pieces and parts of every property around it and put it into rural residential, you're going to have a mess in 20 years. You have to plan what could happen if 20 years from now the property is sold. I won't be around, I won't see it, but my children will. And we plan to stay where we are. So I think we have a real conundrum here with, well, it's not a conundrum. It's something I fail to understand, why you can't do a conservation easement or conservation design easement as opposed to a rural residential. If you do the conservation design, you are limited in perpetuity until you can change it legally anyway to 3 houses, period. The other alternative could be 30 houses or more. Now, Bird Farm Road is very busy during the summer. We have polo traffic, we have a lot of people coming in for polo or recreation. That road is busy. There are horse trailers on it. And they don't stop easily or quickly. You're going to have to redo that road eventually if you allow 30 houses there. It's not possible. It's dangerous. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Janet. That is all I have for that item. Close the public hearing at 9:56.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
move to approve item R 25002, Clearwater Land and Minerals rezone as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Janet, I hear your concerns. I also, we heard from Mr. Wetland discussing how Clearwater, when they submit that subdivision application, is going to want perpetual binding covenant and a record deed restriction on the 3 parcels to keep that development down. So, and if somebody were to come in and buy that 60 acres, they still have to come to us with the subdivision approval, and we don't have to approve that. So that makes me feel better about it, and I would agree with Mr. Wetland. This is the middle of development. It fits the land use well. I live near there. Anyway, I'll be voting in favor.
Anybody else? Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I did notice from looking at that it looks like the ingress and regress traffic for the most part is actually going to be on the Plymouth Road. And so I think that kind of alleviates a certain extent of traffic problems that we might be seeing in could be a little bit of a dangerous intersection there. I just don't see the additional traffic in there. I also feel that the Clearwaters are demonstrating a good neighbor policy with their land, and so I will be voting in favor of this as well.
Anyone else? I would say that I am in favor on almost all subdivisions on the conservation design subdivision idea, not on changing it to rural residential because of all the reasons we just spoke about. So I will be voting not in favor of this. Anyone else? Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is consider item CU 25-006 Bighorn Recreation Center, CUP. And once again, Mark Reed, County Planner.
Thank you again, Chairman Wright, members of the board, Mark Reed. Sheridan County School District Number 1 has applied for a conditional use permit for the construction and operation of a rec center and early child development center with attendant parking on a 15-acre parcel in the north half and southeast, section 5, township 54 north, range 84 west. The property is accessed from State Highway 335 and is zoned UR urban residential. Again, the purpose of the application is to permit construction operation of this facility west of the existing Bighorn School campus. Again, your staff report does touch on the development context, planning, regulatory framework analysis, and recommendation. Planning and Zoning Commission on November 6th voted 2-1 to recommend approval of item CU 25006, Bighorn Rec Center, CUP, to construct and operate a recreation center and early child development center with attendant parking as per the submitted application and plan with the following 5 conditions. Number 1, that a professionally engineered traffic impact study be submitted to the Public Works Department verifying adequate parking and travelways based on estimates of reliable data collected from comparable uses or on published external data. Specific improvements identified in the plan shall be installed prior to occupancy. Number 2, that any necessary YDOT approvals for highway access or signage be secured. Number 3, that a professionally engineered drainage plan be submitted to the Public Works Department for approval, and that any necessary drainage structures and grading as recommended by the plan be installed prior to commencing the use. Number 4, that only fully shielded cutoff lighting fixtures relative to the use may be used for exterior lighting that minimizes glare to passing motorists or neighboring properties. And number 5, that if the type of occupancy being proposed falls within the scope of the International Building Code as adopted by Sheridan County, any new structure, future structure modifications, or additions will require Sheridan County building permits. Future structures, modifications, additions may also require a new CUP. That's all I have at this time, Mr. Chairman. Happy to answer anything on our staff report. If you have any questions, I'm sure the applicant is present as well as their agent.
Questions for Mark? Anyone? This item also requires a public hearing, which I will open at 10:02. And Kimberly Thomas.
Ready? Mr. Chairman, as a resident of Bighorn and the Sheridan County taxpayer, I come with concerns about the future financial impact to the community posed by the rec center facility. Although the initial transaction and construction is explained as a privately funded venture, it is the future costs of operation and maintenance that give me pause. Is there a published business plan that discusses the cost of both property and liability insurance? How much does it cost monthly to heat and cool a 31,000 square foot facility? Will there be a reserve study and a set aside for future maintenance costs? Where will the 1,500 dues paying members come from? Is there really a need for fitness facilities with Powderhorn in close proximity? The Powderhorn offers new state-of-the-art gym facilities to members. Will the annual funds to Bighorn D1 RC District be adequate in future years to cover the operation and maintenance What if revenue from property taxes decline? Will there be a future ask of the county commissioners to use taxpayer funds to cover operating and maintenance cost shortfalls? Are there answers to these questions? It seems to me that the proponents of this facility in the course of due diligence should furnish answers. I have since learned that a community meeting was hosted by the BHBC on August 6th. Was this publicized to the greater community? No one I have spoken with was aware of a public meeting. One additional consideration. The future land use plan intends that the property to be used for public or quasi-public purposes. The rec center is essentially a private club with paid members and a private preschool paid by student tuition. The only public involvement is in owning the land and paid to insure, maintain, and operate the facility. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I neglected to sign up, but I was.
Okay, I'll get you that.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Jeremy. I'll have you come next.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the County Commission. My name is Jeremy Smith. I'm the business manager for Sheridan County School District Number 1. And a little context, this is my 23rd school year in that position. A quick history, and I'll certainly answer or address some of Ms. Thompson's questions. 13 years ago, we were here before you asking to build a rec center, community center on a different piece of property. Through some fault of our own, we accidentally burned down a previous church. We felt really bad about that. It was our maintenance vehicle that caught fire that burned down a building we had been renting as a bus barn location during the construction of the Bighorn School campus. We thought at that time that would be a great location to build this type of facility. And on a 3-2 vote, this very commission decided no, it should go next to your high school. Of course, that's the best place to put a rec center, and these attendant facilities with all the parking and all of the traffic should be located there. So it just took us 13 years, Mr. Chairman, to get here to ask you to honor that commitment that we tried to make 13 years ago, and you suggested this very location. And so here we are. The great news is that this is the best example of a public-private partnership I've ever seen. Our board of trustees, and I believe one of them is here, I think Ms. Stolick is here. And also Dr. Jones, our superintendent, is here to answer some other questions if you should have some. They have offered the use of this property previously to the Bighorn Baseball Club to construct a baseball field, I think to some great success, as well as a youth football practice facility field on that same location. So this just continues that work that has started some years ago through the great efforts of the Bighorn Baseball Club and their members. This is a fantastic facility, absolutely necessary for the continued growth of Bighorn. 13 years ago, we were much smaller than we currently are. Growth is happening. You guys keep approving subdivisions and people keep building houses. It's kind of awesome how that works. And this is a necessary facility. We've had several public meetings on this, either hosted by the Sheridan County School District Number 1 Board of Trustees or the Sheridan County School District Number 1 Recreation District Board have also hosted several meetings on this, as well as the Bighorn Baseball Club, all of which properly noticed in all of the required places to be noticed. Happy to answer any financial questions, but this is amazing. So the Board of Trustees is going to grant the use of the property for the purpose of constructing the rec center and early childhood facilities, which will then be owned by our recreation district. In line with its mission, vision, values of what it's supposed to do, which is provide recreational opportunities for citizens of all ages in our school district. We have a very similar model to this one, albeit it came by in a different way in the Tongue River Valley. If any of you are familiar, the Tongue River Valley Community Centers, both are in former school buildings. The current one to date was the old Tongue River High School, and some people will go, no, it wasn't that old, it was built in 1962, right? So maybe not that old. But that's where it exists, is in a former school location. We transferred it to the town of Dayton for the huge price of $1. Then at the center in Tongue River in Manchester is in the former Tongue River Elementary School building. We leased it to them for a decent market price, a major component of that. This carries on the tradition where the school district recognizes and understands that recreation for all citizens of all ages, birth to seniors. We just had this conversation earlier today about the hub. This is us helping support that in a way too, in our part of the world that we get to influence. So, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I'm happy to answer any questions, but this has been vetted. It has a great process for how it's to be operated later. The memberships certainly are going to drive lots of the programming that's going to be offered and necessary to be offered. Certainly, it's going to support some after-school activities of our school district, as well as, very importantly in our world these days, early childhood programming. We currently are using 3 classrooms in our K-12 school system to have pre-K, and we're outgrowing the ability to allow that to continue for very much longer. And so they need a new home. This is a great, again, public-private partnership that's going to benefit all of the citizens of Sheridan County School District Number 1, and most certainly those of our families on the south half of our district. So, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, happy to answer any questions you have, but we've worked it. This is one of the steps in the process for them to finish their fundraising and begin construction, but this is not going to be some drain on random tax dollars in any way. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from Jeremy? Anyone?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I tried to get some information about continuing operation of this facility, how it's going to pay bills, that kind of thing, business plan. Reached out, never got anything back. I'm curious why, and now all of a sudden you don't answer the questions today, but I don't have a chance to really look at this, so.
Mr. Rozier, my sincere apologies, but I've not been contacted by you. Do you know who you tried to contact to answer any of those questions?
Yeah, I talked to our county administrator, and he was supposed to talk to you about it.
No, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Arce, that went to a different individual with the Bighorn Baseball Club, Jay Martinson. So it was not Jeremy Smith that I sent the contact information. So I apologize.
So we were really trying to get outside asking the same question then?
Well, all I did was pass on contact information. So I don't want that implied that I was supposed to spearhead that.
But Mr. Rozier, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might specifically have. And if I can't answer them off the cuff, sir, I will certainly defer to someone else who possibly can. But I've been at this a long time. I could probably answer your question.
I guess what I'm saying about this is that usually on a project like this, you do a business plan as to whether or not it's going to be self-sustaining from that point on, once it's built. And I haven't seen anything from there whatsoever. I'd like to see a business plan. That's what I'm
With respect, Commissioner RZ, that's not a requirement of the conditional use permit process. And so that's likely why it was not included in the packet, to include a business plan for how it was to be structured. But I'm happy to answer the question that yes, this project will sustain itself now and into the future, barring some massive calamity and invasion of the United States that I can't predict. But yes, sir, that's been done. It's just not a portion of the produced packet for a conditional use permit.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, let's go a little different way with this.
Okay.
You don't foresee any public funds in the future for the operation of this building? Is that what you're saying?
So Mr. Chairman, I think you asked, and Commissioner Arce, I think you asked a good question. So what does it look like in the future, right? So remember, this building has two distinct purposes, right? One is to provide a space for our early childhood programming that the district provides, both with the use of the $500,000 that we levy for the Board of Cooperative Education for early childhood services, that one, but also the parent tuition that is paid. So the portion of the classrooms that the school district is going to operate through its early childhood programming, I would say, yes, it's going to have some public support to that, right? Because it's a public purpose for the education of our students. The other portion of this building, which is to provide recreation and community gathering opportunities for the citizens of that part of our school district, certainly will be self-sustaining because it has to be. They won't receive public funding for that purpose. So, I mean, so my answer is not trying to dodge the answer. It's just suggesting that, remember, this building has two twin purposes for its existence. One is which is the education of our children, and the other is which is for the activities and fitness and gathering and recreational needs for our citizens, including potentially our senior citizen location for meals on lunches, just like the Tongue River Valley has. But I mean, it has a multitude of potential uses. But so I'm not dodging the question. I'm just trying to be honest. A portion of this building is part of our pre-K-12 education system of District 1. The other portion is for the recreation and community gathering of citizens. So those are two different answers.
Mr. Chairman, just to follow up on what you were saying, Mr. Smith. So you, before I get into that, I do want to point out, you did say that 13 years ago, you came before this very board. I don't think any of us were on that board. So it was not this very board.
I agree with that.
Just clarifying.
Point to clarify, understand, yes.
But secondly, you said that the recreation portion of it will be self-sustaining because it has to be.
Correct.
I guess the question is how are you going to make that self-sustaining? And then the second question, of course, comes from the idea you mentioned Tongue River Community Center. I'm sure they get some of their money through Mill Levy Recreation District.
They do not.
They do not. Okay.
No,
I do know they get money from 1%.
Yeah. So great question, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Jennings. So the Tongue River Valley Community Center does make grant applications to the Sheridan County School District #1 Recreation District. Longest name in history, apologize. We'll shorthand it Rec District for now, okay? But don't confuse it with Sheridan's Rec. So they do come before the Rec District and ask for grants to support some of their programming, which is granted by that board that's appointed by our school district board. So again, I want to be perfectly transparent about that. They receive no mill levy funding directly from any entity, right? But they do lease a building owned by the town of Dayton for, I'm sure, not a large fee. And they do petition for grants twice annually from the rec district of our school district to support its programming for our kids. So, I mean, I just want to clear that, but they do not receive direct mill levy funding.
Okay, so in your plan, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, in your plan of talking about this being funded by the half mil, based on the
Can I clarify?
Yes.
So one of the programs that we operate for our early childhood program. So one of our pre-K programs we operate is called Learning with Limbs. That has we have an employee called an early childhood liaison. That position is funded with our early childhood BOCCs. So one of the programs that would be offered in there in that space is paid for by our half meal that our school board chooses.
Okay, and your recreation district.
Right, will own this facility when it's done.
And it will be funded with that. Now, part of that, am I correct? The 147,100 is the operating levy for School District 1 recreation.
Correct. So, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Jennings, currently, the rec district gives a portion of its funding through grants, right? Just as I said, one of those grants goes to the YMCA to support recreational needs for the kids and students and adults in Bighorn's area. Instead of giving it to them, they'll use it for this purpose. But it's not the whole 147% or 147,000. It's a percentage, and I'll misquote it, but I believe it's like 20% of that.
Okay.
So it's a very small number.
Is any of that 147,000 used for Tongue River District as well? Or I'm sorry, community center?
Through the Tongue River Valley Community Center school portion, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, please clarify if I'm not.
Yeah, no.
That 147,000 that is your recreation levy is going to be used both for Tongue River Community Center and Bighorn Community Center?
That's correct. Which it has been up until this point, that has been true as well. It's just there wasn't a rec center in our district in the Bighorn area, so it went to the YMCA.
So building upon that idea, the the upkeep and maintenance of the recreation side of this facility.
Right.
Will be done through memberships?
Yes.
What happens if you build this building and you're not able to get all the memberships that you need to?
Then it won't cost very much to operate it. Any questions for Jeremy? Thank you, Jeremy.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to go next, please. My name is Mandy File from the Tongue River Valley Community Center.
Okay, Mandy, come on up.
I didn't know if you guys heard all of that, I tried to be loud, but my name is Mandy Vile. I'm the Director of Operations for the Tongue River Valley Community Center. And the majority of our operations comes from our endowment. Our endowment runs everything for the most part. We do accept some mills, but for the most part, we are completely self-sustaining. If we didn't have those mills, we would still be able to operate and run without, there would be some adjustments, but we would still be able to do it. I am excited to be able to talk to you guys about this because I went to school in the buildings that Mr. Smith talked about. So kindergarten through 12th grade at Tongue River. None of these things that the community center offers were available to me and Sheriff Dominguez when we went through. Nothing. There was no after-school programs. There was nothing on Fridays. There was nothing for seniors. There was no recreation, anything. If we did anything, we were shipped into the YMCA. So it's very much if you build it, they will come. I just took note yesterday because someone had asked me to come speak on this. And so yesterday was just a regular Monday. We had 4 fitness classes. We had 3 sets of pickleball going on in our facilities. We had 3 preschool classes going. Those bring in speech language pathologists. They bring in occupational therapists to these kids that desperately need these things. We have after school programs going on. We have Taekwondo going on. We have wrestling in partnership with Sheridan County School District number 1 going on in our facilities. We fed, I think it was 28 seniors yesterday in-house, not to mention all of the people that participate in Meals on Wheels. This is an incredible opportunity. If you pour into this sort of situation, you're going to get it out tenfold. It's an honor to be on this side of the community center now as someone who grew up in the valley. And so I think that the opportunity is, we don't know what this will look like for Bighorn. Their needs are probably not the same as what they are in Tongue River, but we've taken it and we've ran with it, and all of the community has invested in it. Our endowment runs off of donations from our community members. That's just what it is. That's saying we believe in this and we want to continue doing this. We're proud of the programs that we do. We had over 65 people at the turkey trot on Thanksgiving. I made 14 pies for turkey bingo and turkey trot. That's just what we do. That's just it. And it's funny because our unofficial motto is Heart of the Valley. And that's what it is. And anybody who walks through those doors says something special out here. This is special. We have people come over from Bighorn to play pickleball all the time. And they go, this is special. This is really neat. I can't believe you guys, this is cool. And it was built from nothing. It started in a strip mall in a 1-room building. So anyhow, that was my 2 cents. And I just wanted to, Commissioner Jennings, say that we run primarily on endowment.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Mandy. Next on my bid, Walt Tribally, did you want to talk on this? Or was it some other item? Here. Okay, moving on. Jay Martinson. Out of your name a while ago, Jay.
Hello, thank you all for considering what we're doing and letting us speak on this. My apologies if you sent a request, I did not receive it, or we would have replied to that. This is a project we've worked with Jeremy for probably 5-6 years now, trying to come up with a concept and idea. been to many different meetings with Pete Kilbride, up to Dr. Jones, on down the line, to try to get this thing lined up and meet the needs of what we can see. As Jeremy kind of mentioned, the early childhood programs, 3 different classrooms, 3 different locations. You got young kids running through a high school parking lot. You got the traffic patterns and the drop off and pick up. What this center will do, will move all of those kids up, and 40 families from in and out of the Bighorn loop there to another location to help alleviate traffic. So just from the early childhood side of this, this is a huge opportunity for us. The powder horn was mentioned as a recreation. That's great if you want to lift weights. If you want to shoot a basketball, play pickleball, do anything like that, doesn't happen there. So from a community perspective, this is a huge opportunity for us. It is all privately funded through donations. Our board is all volunteers. No one's getting a penny out of this. We're all just pouring in everything we can for the community to get this thing complete. We've had some very big donors come up, offer us money to set this up in Bighorn specifically, because that's where they see the need. If we wouldn't have that large donor step up, we wouldn't be here today, because the raise we're looking for is a very large one. And we are probably at, I would say, 90% of our cash budget. That's what we'd like to be at. So we're trending right along where we need to be to complete the project, get our building on order. We have 2 great builders in place with A&B Builders, Joshua Smith, and ZM Construction, Zach Dermott, who both have done similar projects to this and know how to make the property look great. I mean, this isn't going to be a steel-sided building like some of us may be envisioning. This is going to be a nice-looking facility. It's going to have, you know, the proper architecture and different things aligned with this. The location that we did choose was very strategic. Yes, it would be much easier to build it down next to that retaining wall, but that is a lot of structural fill, a little more unstable ground, plus the drainage would be a little bit tougher for us. So we chose the other location. The whole rest of the field will be finished off for parking for both football games and, you know, the larger events that do happen on the Bighorn campus. This will take a lot of the parking off the highways, make it a lot safer from that aspect of things. What else do we need to talk about? The safety of the kids is huge, like we said. Another thing with the location, where we're at now, proposing it, the playground will be able to be in the back portion of the facility versus up near the highway or anywhere near that. So that helps a ton. That was mentioned, the success of the baseball field and little guy football field. That thing is, if you drive out near Bighorn from middle of March through August, that thing is packed with people all the time being utilized. So yeah, we've run a couple of successful projects. Hopefully this will be our next one. Appreciate your time. We'll answer any questions.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Mr. Martinson, for coming to speak. One of my questions that I have deals with the fact that this will be a facility that has both students and public possibly in it at the same time, of course, younger children. What are the security measures that will be in place to make sure that whoever is coming into those facilities does not have access to protect?
Yeah, so everything is key fob, similar to school district buildings. The early childhood center has doors that are only accessible with proper key cards, both in and out of the rec facility and into the building directly. Membership will do similar, just like everywhere else does, the YMCA, TRVCC, whatever systems they do to run people through to make sure you got the right kind of members. That's the same thing we'll do. So, yeah, key fob, heavily security, everything we need to do from a school district standpoint.
Mr. Chairman, just one more follow-up question. I know you said that this is 100% private money, but is if I'm understanding this correct, there is some public money through the amount of money that comes to the recreation district. Is that correct?
Not correct for the building, no. So the Bighorn Baseball Club is only building the building. And we're raising all our funds from private donations and goodwill of the community. Zero of that tax dollar.
Will be the recreation district.
That goes So we're building the building,
Mhm.
how the funds go from there, the funds will help, but it's also already in place, I do believe, correct?
I don't know. That's
Well, the
my
rec
question.
district mill levy is already in place.
Yes,
The
the
funds
mill-
are being
Yes.
collected by the rec district, and they will choose how to allocate those funds at that point. I'm not on the rec district board. The way we will build this facility is we'll build it. We have input on how it gets operated. Sure, we'll have a little input, but ultimately we do not run the building.
I just wanted to clarify that then, yes, the building of the building, the actual building is private donations, and congratulations to you guys for doing that. But the upkeep maintenance, from here in perpetuity, a portion of that will be funded through, if I'm understanding Mr. Smith correct, through the mill levy.
I would assume those funds would go to programming and student interaction more so than upkeep of the building. And the funds to build it, we're gonna raise $5-6 million on this facility. Zero of that is taxpayer dollars.
Mr. Chairman, I did want to commend you about that. I really appreciate the fact that you guys went out and actually raised money for the building. I do appreciate that all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I don't know if I guess it's sort of in the form of a question, but in terms of this whole budgeting process, if I understand this correctly, the Recreation District already received some mill levy funds. How they determine to spend it is how they determine to spend it. And there is certainly no ask here of any additional funds in terms of public funding for this facility, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Gail Reno.
Thank you, commissioners, for having me. I'll speak into the mic. My name is Kale Century Reno. I'm here speaking in support of this facility. I am the Bighorn Middle School girls basketball coach. I am a parent of two middle school, a high school and an elementary kid that went through the early childhood stuff. And I am an alumni of Tongue River High School that now is that community center, and I'm stoked on it because I also had nothing as a ranch kid. What to do with this place? Okay, I'm in support of it. I first want to talk about being the coach. This year we have in the middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, 5 teams. We have a lot of girls. I have one gym to work with. The great thing about what's happening is we have a wrestling program, we have other programming going on, we have other people that want to use the gym. The moment I'm out of that gym, there's more kiddos coming in the gym. So as you all know, in Sheridan and in the surrounding areas, gym space is really needed, coveted, especially during our long winter months. But just from my perspective, the program is growing. I'm just the girls basketball coach. We're excited about that. But as far as other kids that are participating, the program, the community, the area is growing. And so I, as a basketball coach, as just one of these people that's going to utilize this facility, is very excited because then I have 3 coaches. We could add another coach. We could have teams up there. It's going to be exciting. So as a basketball coach, and we've submitted letters, et cetera, I'm stoked. That's just one tiny part. The second part that I would like to speak on is the early childhood area, having our little guy go through it. And first of all, we were over in the elementary downstairs, and then we moved to the middle school, and just speaking on the safety part of that and our parking lot, just drive through one time. Come to my practice. I implore you to come see how this will actually affect. So if you don't get it, please come during drop off and pick up, and then please stay and come to my practice. And you'll see what I'm doing with 37 girls in the gym. And I feel like we're doing a pretty good job, but we will be much better if we can have a little bit more space. And then other people can utilize that too. So again, I'm speaking from a narrow lens of the people that are actually going to use this. Then the third part, being a Tongue River alum, way back in the 90s, That did not exist, that community center. And I know there was this, for a while, I thought they were gonna tear down the high school, and that was super sad. But then when the opportunity for it to become a community center, like how amazing. And knowing that community and how people utilize that. And then thank you, Mandy, for speaking about what actually happens just on a typical Monday. That's just a typical Monday. How amazing. So Bighorn has that opportunity. We have the funds to build the building, how we sustain it. I was a nonprofit director for 8 years. I bet there's some grant applications we could do, and we could keep things going to sustain it. That will happen. That I don't foresee that being a big issue as a citizen of the area. We can make that happen. Thank you for your time. I'm just super excited, and go Lady Rams.
Chairman Wright, can I speak just as from the rec district board as well to give that piece of the.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Morgan Stolick. I grew up in Bighorn, went to Bighorn K-12. Now I'm a parent. My kids have gone to Bighorn, K through now a sophomore and an 8th grader. We've gone through the preschool program. Again, it's been moved around and it has expanded exponentially. Like's been talked about before, the security and safety of those preschool kids, moving it up to a new facility is going to be really key. I think it's going to be awesome for the growth of our community. We have a very big need for childcare in this county, regardless, but preschool education is so important and that's ever growing. So this will allow us to grow in that way. As a coach, I've coached volleyball at Bighorn for 15 years in the school, and as a club travel coach. There is no space in this whole county. As a coach, I've had all of my teams practice through the Sheridan Rec District and in the Sheridan High School, junior high, elementary schools all over this county, because there's just not simply enough room at Bighorn for boys and girls, volleyball, basketball, anything outside, and now including wrestling. So we're just out of gym space. So this allows us to expand in that facility as well. And I also sit on the school board for our side of the county. I'm on the rec district board as well as representative of the school board. Yes, we get, our mills to run our rec district currently. All of those funds go to promoting not just our kids, but the whole, all ages in our district, recreationally. So you come to our board meetings and ask for grants or whatever you want to call it to receive some of those monies, but nothing is set in stone, nothing is specifically allocated to any one group or people. So the TRBCC comes every year and requests some money to help with their programming. And so the YMCA has done the same. So I expect that the new facility will also do those things to request the same kind of money for after-school programming and other recreational opportunities for our constituents in our district. So there is nothing set in stone that any taxpayer money will go to the maintenance, the upkeep, the operations, any of it. Anyone in our district is, can apply for any kind of grant like that to help with those recreational needs. The safety of our kids is really key in this. We've put a lot of thought into where the preschool is located, where their playground is located, the traffic flow, to make sure that everyone is in a safer position. The high school drivers are really great. They haven't run over any little preschoolers yet, but it's a real concern on a daily basis in that parking lot. So getting those little kids out of that parking lot is really key for me. as well as just easing the traffic flow in the existing parking lot for the kids that are going to that school. You know, there's just so many aspects of this facility that it's gonna help. When you go back to just the gym space alone, if you've ever tried to rent a gym for a travel practice in this county, you'll know how very expensive it is. And you are practicing 4th, 3rd, 2nd grade kids until 9 o'clock at night just because of the gym space. So this definitely would allow our Bighorn specific teams to stay in the Bighorn area and utilize gym space at a much earlier, more reasonable time for these travel teams practice. When you're talking about operations to run this thing, again, if you know what it costs to rent a gym in this county, trust me, right now, our gym space at Bighorn High School, middle school, and elementary is full from before school till 9 o'clock at night. So there is the need for the gym space. So renting out gym space, that's definitely one avenue for whoever operates this facility to keep in mind. The tournaments between travel basketball and travel volleyball, pickleball tournaments, and wrestling tournaments, just those 4 alone, you could have a tournament of some kind in this building pretty much year round. And so again, those costs go to maintaining it, operating it, and it's really going to be up to whoever is the operator of this facility to make sure it works. If it doesn't work, you're not going to be able to continue. But the nice thing is that the land is owned by the school district. The building will be owned by the rec district. So in some case where it does fail and no one can operate it, then we can revisit, you know, the options to be able to pay for it. But if it comes back to the school district, if we cannot pay for it at all, and it comes back to the school district, then, you know, that is an option as well. But it wouldn't, you know, wouldn't cost as much because you're only keeping it open. So the nice thing about the preschool is that it maintains itself now and it will continue to maintain itself forever. So that portion of the building, that is paid for. So, any questions?
So, thanks, Morgan. Next on my list, Brad Grigorich, and I'm gonna ask that you keep it like 2 minutes. Some of us have other things going on.
Let's see, plan on going that one.
Okay.
So that's perfect.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for having us here this morning to speak in support of the Bighorn Recreation Early Learning Center. We've heard all the reasons why. Oh, by the way, I'm the Bighorn Elementary principal. Sorry, should have led with that. We've heard all the reasons why this is, you know, great for the athletics teams of the community. As a person that's responsible for overseeing the management of gym space on campus, I kind of took that on this year. Morgan's absolutely correct. We have high school throwers in there before school. As soon as school's out, we have the middle school wrestlers coming in their gear. We're splitting the gym so that we can have wrestlers going on one side and basketball teams going on the other. As soon as they're out of the building, we've got travel teams coming into the evening, practicing till 8 o'clock at night. And we could have that gym full every day of the week if we didn't schedule some time for our custodial staff to be off. And so the need is absolutely there in the community for that element of it. But I really want to speak in support of the expansion, the opportunities for our early childhood learning. As both the principal of Bighorn Elementary and as a parent that has had kids go through the program, its impact on the learning and the experiences of our kids in the Bighorn community is undeniable. Stepping into one of our kindergarten classrooms and seeing how prepared those kids are to step into school, to have a wonderful school experience so they can be successful all the way through. A huge hand in that is the experiences that they gain through the early childhood learning program.
We have a great partnership with Kendra and the teachers. And it would be a bummer, to be honest, to see, I call them our ramblings, to see them not on campus walking around, but to get them out of that parking lot so that they're not trudging through there multiple times a day, I think would be huge. Yeah, we have some of our former kids that went through that program right here. The current junior class at Bighorn High School is the first group that went through there. And so I just want to speak in favor of that. I think I might have gone over 2 minutes. Sorry, Lonnie.
Thank you, sir. Next is Jeff Jones.
You, Mr. Chairman. My name is Jeff Jones. I'm the superintendent, Sheridan School District Number 1. I'll be very brief. I echo a lot of the comments and I don't want to repeat those, please. I'm going to address something though that hasn't been addressed. And that's what matters to people when they choose school district number 1 to work at. Much like any other business or organization who's recruiting the best people, it sends a message when there's something like a recreation center. I spent several years as a principal at Tongue River Middle School, and it was one of the reasons that I was able to hire teachers, to hire staff to come to our school, because the message that was sent is that community matters with 2 recreation centers on the Tongue River side. I look forward to the opportunity to advertise and promote this building to future employees that are considering moving to our community to work in the Bighorn School District or Bighorn side of the school district, because I think it's going to be very valuable from that standpoint. I echo everything else that everybody's been saying, and I appreciate all the work and consideration that you do.
Thank you, sir. Next on my list, Joshua Smith.
I'm gonna pass.
Thank you for that. Zach McDermott. Thank you for that. Ryan Furman.
Good morning. I'll be brief as well. My name is Ryan Furman. I'm the new principal of Bighorn High School. And it's my honor to stand here in support of the Bighorn Recreation Center. In part because I can be a little selfish, it solves so many problems that we are having right now, let alone in a few years when our population continues to grow. Things that I had to deal with as the new principal of high school, the parking lot, pick up and drop off, the safety of our littles who are right now in the middle school hallways when they need to use the bathroom. I mean, they're great and they're welcome and they do the fire drill very well, but the idea that they could be in a dedicated space is really awesome. Additionally, we're looking to add some programming at the high school level to an early childhood class for seniors to take. So to continue that partnership in a new dedicated location is great. Space, we had to figure out where to put our new ag teacher, and we had classrooms that were currently off limits. So the idea in the future that we have classroom space back to use for middle school and high school programming. The parking lot for high school football games. All of these reasons solve so many problems today, let alone in the future. And finally, I'll just close with, as the new principal of Bighorn High School, this community loves their high school. They love their students. So the idea of having a building that brings everybody together, from little to high school to pickleball players, I won't say age, is just a great opportunity. So I would hope you would support the rec center.
Thank you, sir. Next, Nick Zint.
Commissioner, members of the board, my name is Nick Zinn. I'm the author and architect of the CUP document. And just wanted to recognize the conditions that were set forth by Mr. Reed and his team. And we've acknowledged those and taken them into consideration. They will be complied with in our design, and I'm open for any questions you might have.
Thank you, sir. Elsie Todd.
Hello, my name is Elsie and I'm the student body president of BAG. And I am Brooke, the vice president of BAG. Having the early education and recreation center would mean a great deal for my fellow students and our school. I want to be a preschool teacher when I grow up, and having this facility would give us gym space and preschool rooms. I live close to where it would be built, and having a place in the winter and summer to go play volleyball and basketball would be amazing for me and my fellow students at Bighorn. We really hope you will be supportive of this building. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And with that, I've exhausted my sign-up sheet, and I want to close the public.
One moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Isham Thompson, County Clerk. As the county election official, I would just like to say that having a place where the community gathers in our largest precinct and district, which is 12-1, may be the answer to our future polling place. We have really struggled with the Bighorn Women's Club being big enough for 12-1 to handle our largest district and precinct in the county. And I want to say it has been a great pleasure to work with the Tongue River Valley District, Rec District, because we currently use them as a polling location for 2 of our districts. The Dayton Town Hall ran out of room, and they came up with this solution for our polling location. And it has been just a wonderful partnership and a wonderful place to have plenty of space to set up our 2 polling locations as a combined polling place. So short of that, when we're out of room, the statute does allow the board and the commissioners and the clerk to go into a school and use a school as a polling location. But it's very complicated to have kids and voters at the same time having school. It's not ideal, and I can share those many reasons later, but what the ideal nature of a type of a building that's a rec center, you know it's going to be ADA compliant, you know it's going to have security, you know it's going to have a lot of things, parking, all the things that are needed for a polling location. So when the day comes that we can no longer fit in the Bighorn Women's Club, this could potentially be an answer.
Very good. Okay, and with that, I'm going to close the public hearing at 10:51.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I move to approve item CU-25-006, Bighorn Recreation Center CUP with the 5 conditions as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
The motion and a second discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I will be very brief, as we've spent quite a lot of time on this. I want to thank the members who worked so hard to get donations for this project. You know, community centers are, I think, community it's everything. So, but as I've listened today, one of the things that keeps coming up to me, as we've talked about Tongue River Valley Center, they started small. They can fall back on an endowment. They got a building for $1. All of these things are great. You have a center that serves the community, but they still come back and ask for funds through 1%. We talked about grants. Most grants are taxpayer funded. Now, if you can find grants that are not taxpayer funded, great. My worry comes from the fact, what if we can't fill this? It leaves it very open-ended. It was said, you know what, if we can't fill it up, we may have to revisit options. Are those options to come back and ask for more money from the taxpayers? We heard earlier from the senior center, these people are already struggling. What happens if we have to come back and ask for more money from our seniors? It's very, very, that's where I'm coming from. I appreciate this. If this goes through, I will certainly be hoping that you're able to fill this up, that this goes great guns, that you don't ever have to come back for taxpayer money. But I'm going to go off of the extreme caution for our taxpayers, and I'm going to be voting no on this. But again, I hope you guys make it succeed.
Other discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Brooke, did you send an email in?
Yes, I did.
I share your fantastic feelings about this project, and I appreciate your Bronc blue that you're wearing this morning.
It's easy.
As the commissioner up here with young kids, teens, struggling with the 6 a.m. practice and the 7 p.m. practice, I hear and understand all of that. It's too bad we couldn't have figured out how to get an extra sheet of ice out of it. So I just, I appreciate the vision, the fundraising. So I'll be voting in support of this.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to point out that all we're voting on here is a CUP. We're not voting to micromanage a facility that the rec district and the school district are going to operate. All we're voting here on is a CUP. Okay? That's what I want to emphasize here. It's not going to be up to us to fund the building. It's not going to be up to us to manage the building. We're just authorizing them to have a CUP to do it. That's what we're voting.
Thank goodness for that.
Yes.
Anybody else? Hearing no one else jump up, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Everybody again, please.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, the last item, thank goodness. Consider request for temporary permit extension for item Q-15-003 Unified Taylor Quarry, Mark Reed County Planner.
Thank you, Chairman Wright. I was the board, Mark County Planner, so you received a letter requesting a temporary extension of the permit quarry permit Ramapo regarding the continued operation of the Taylor Unified Quarry. Back in June, you had considered a similar request from the then property owners, Taylor Interest, and that was granted. That period is up today, that's 6 months. And so Ramapo is now extending the same request to continue the temporary permit to allow them time to reapply for a permanent permit. That's really all I have on the matter. I don't know if anybody's present to represent them or any operators, but that's all I have on it.
Okay. Questions for Mark, anybody?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Mark, is there any word from that company that as to when they might bring something in front of us?
I don't have any correspondence or any contact other than what you received, so.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I don't know if Jeff has any information that he could speak to?
Chairman, Commissioners, Jeff Barron, WWC Engineering Agent for Ramaco. The extension request is basically to just offer Taylor Quarry the opportunity to continue their operations underneath the county provisions. They are currently in early planning stages with what they're doing in their coal operation and trying to find how that will mirror or marry with the quarry operations that see fit. So they don't want to terminate that now because there's certainly an opportunity for them to grow within the confines of Ramaco's permit boundary for mining coal.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Jeff, so right now, does Wagner Ranch Services have a contract then? Will they extend their contract with Ramaco to operate the quarry as far as you know at this point?
Chairman, Commissioner, that is correct.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah. Oh. Come forward, sir. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah.
I'll be brief.
It's in between 09 and 12.
Thank you to the Board of Commissioners for this opportunity. My name is Terry Olson. I'm the Operations Manager for Wagner Ranch Services, and I'm here representing WRS as the operator for Taylor Quarry. And we respectfully request that this board favorably consider granting a 6-month extension to Taylor Quarry, allowing the new ownership position time to go through the renewal process. As you said, the current permit expires today. And briefly, Taylor Quarry is a valuable resource, providing scoria products not only to Sheridan County, but to multiple states around the area. Closing it would have a negative impact on, obviously, our business model, but it also would disrupt the service that we provide to local clientele, and jeopardize and certainly interrupt our ability to fulfill long-term contracts, result in reduction of staff, which is something that we hate to see, especially this time of the year. And it would restrict our ability to access about $240,000 worth of scoria products that are currently processed and stockpiled on site. So I want to thank you for your consideration, your prompt consideration in this matter. And again, respectfully request that you grant the permit extension. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, Mr. Olson, you were squished in with all the last comments.
Sorry about that.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I move to approve the temporary permit extension for item Q 15003, Unified Taylor Quarry.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Motion passes, and we are adjourned at 11 o'clock.
Thank you for that. Yeah, yeah. Wouldn't have drank